Hello, I'm Christine. Welcome to Book Talk. Today we're discussing The Young Elites by Marie Lu. If you don't know Marie Lu already, you should be on top of that. She's the New York Times bestselling author of the Legend trilogy. Did you read these? Because they're fabulous. It's one of my favorite trilogies. It's pretty epic. It's the best. I have book talks for all the books, so like if you need to know about those, you can go hit those up. The Young Elites is pretty different from the Legend trilogy. I mean, obviously. You wouldn't expect two different series from an author to be the same. The Young Elites is actually set in more of a fantasy world. Wasn't expecting that. I thought for some reason that it was more of like historical fiction sort of a thing. But it's set in this fantasy realm. All the cities are fictional. It's a fantasy book, but it's not high fantasy. The overall premise of the book kind of sounds like The Darkest Mind. There's this blood fever that goes throughout the country, and the children that live through the blood fever end up with abilities. Like there's endless arrays of abilities. Now, the protagonist we follow in this book is a 16-year-old girl, and she's not your typical protagonist. She's pretty dark. And I know you're like, oh yeah, I've read dark protagonists. Yeah, but she's like a Walter White. She's like the anti-hero. She's like making me uncomfortable sometimes reading from her point of view. I'm like, ooh, really? That's what's going through your head right now? It took me a little longer to really get into it and want to keep going. Legend had me like right off the bat. But again, it has so many fantasy elements that I guess I should have expected that. It's different. I definitely don't think it's as strong as Legend is. The lead's name is Adelina, and reading from her point of view, at first I wasn't too in love with it, and then as we went on, the story started to grow on me, and by the end I was like, okay, I definitely have to read the next book. The caring for the story and about the characters does take longer with this book, but in the end I did care. I'm like, okay, I'm down. I'm on board now. Let's do this. I would give The Young Elites a 90 right now. Like, I enjoyed it, especially at the end, like I said, and I think it has great promise for the rest of the series or trilogy, or I don't know how many it's gonna be. I'm excited for the next one. It's called The Rose Society, and I have an idea of what's gonna go down in it because of how this one ended, and I wanna see where that goes. I think even the writing got better as it went along. Marie Lu has this simplistic writing style, and it worked so well in Legend. It's just really straightforward. It's like a script. In Legend, we're reading from first-person narrative or in their head. It does the job so well, but in The Young Elites, we do see from Adelina's point of view, but we see from other point of views, and it's in third person, and in the beginning of the book, I wasn't digging it so much. Sometimes the sentences kind of bothered me, because in my head, I'm like rewriting them. It was weirdly simple for me for third person. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not in someone's head. But as it went on, I think it got better. Because like, it started not to bother me halfway to the end, and I think that's because the plot got stronger, things started coming together. The beginning was just okay, and the end was super fun. So 4 out of 5 stars, 90%. Excited for The Rose Society. I think that's all you really gotta know in the spoiler-free section here. If that sounds interesting to you, you should go pick this baby up, read it, and then come back, and you can discuss with us. Okay, spoilery section. So if you haven't read the book, you should be gone, because spoiling it. Okay, let me get my notebook. I started using one of these cool fancy pants Barnes & Noble's notebooks, you know them. So our empowered little kitties in The Young Elites are called malfeitors, malfunctions in society. And I guess not everyone who had the blood fever who survived has an ability. Those are called elites. So we started off with Adelina, and I just immediately don't like her. She makes me so uncomfortable. The way she treats her sister, she's so freaking evil. I was so uncomfortable with all those flashbacks, especially when Raphael was doing that test with the rocks that glow, and we kept going through those memories, and I kept being like, oh my god, stop. She's like bitter and vengeful, not even to just her dad, who was an abusive asshole, but her sister. It's her little sister. I couldn't handle it. Ugh. She snaps in a very Matilda-like fashion. I hate you, you're never gonna leave. And then her powers are like, pfft. Now, I don't know what I was expecting her powers to be, but not black blobs that raise from the earth. So Adelina can create illusions, and at first we think they're just black and white, and then she can actually do color, and then we think everything's just an illusion, and then really she could kill someone with an illusion. She kills Dante in the street by just making him think he's in pain, but then he dies. What can she do really? Can she make illusions into a reality? Can she create an illusion wolf and then have that wolf come to life? Is it like that episode of SpongeBob with the magic pencil? That was a scary episode. What if she created a person, like a clone, and then she made that come to life? Who knows how far this thing goes? Unless he just kind of went into some weird sort of shock and died from that, from thinking he was in so much pain? I don't know, but that's very curious. So I kept waiting for her power to kind of hit a new level, and it finally did with that Dante thing. In the beginning when she ran away, I just couldn't even believe that she killed her dad, and then she didn't go back for Violetta. Idiotic, first of all, because then Violetta was stolen and held as blackmail, and that caused everything to go to shit. But she's your sister. She's alone. Your mom is dead. Your dad is now dead, and you're just gonna leave her in the house. She's 14 years old. Bitch! She's like, I didn't even think of anyone watching me in the window. You didn't think of anyone watching your window. You didn't even think of your sister. Your fucking only sister is alone in a house, and her dead dad is on the floor right now. Right from there, I was like, this girl, I cannot. Where's her sense of responsibility? Like, even if you weren't that close, she's all alone and she's only 14. I can rant on that forever. I'm like, oh, okay, eventually she saves her, but I don't care. You put her in that position and you waited ages to save her. That annoyed me so much too. When she got caught by Taryn, Taryn's like, ooh, I have your sister locked up and you have to tell me things from around the court. I'll see you in a week, and he leaves. He doesn't even say, don't tell anyone or I'll kill your sister. Like, that's not even one of his conditions, so that could have been a loophole. Either way, even if he did say that, she could have just gone to Enzo right then and there, told him what's up. There's no way he would have left the sister up there. It can't be that hard to break in and get that little girl out of there with 5 effing elites with powers. I can't. I hate when that happens in books, in The Lost Hero, with Pipper and her stupid dad, and she's like, ooh, I have to betray them. No, you don't. You could just tell your crew what's up. Should we talk about Enzo, the prince slash ninja slash rightful king slash redhead? I could not picture this kid. It took me a while to get Adelina down, but I eventually did. It was so hard picturing things because I couldn't figure out where they were in the world. Ancient India? Is it ancient Italy? Is it Asia? Like, is it Scandinavia? Bellinona? Whatever that country is that's north. That kind of sounds like Scandinavia. So it leads me to believe that this is Europe. So I start picturing ancient Italy, but like it's a fantasy world. But what is it based on? I had a lot of trouble. Enzo kept looking like a punk to me, like a really pale albino punk with red hair. And he doesn't. He has dark skin and the hair is tousled and sexy. I couldn't picture him right, and I kept picturing him with like red rimmed eyes. I don't know. It was hard, man. Enzo is our all-important leader and funder of the Dagger Society. I'm kind of interested in where Enzo gets his moolah. Did his family leave him with all the money even though they exiled him from the fam? Get out of here. But let me give you a few million to take with you just in case. Raphael's a really interesting character, actually. He was my favorite one. He kept me going when I hated Adelina the most. The thing with Adelina, she's like Walter White. Like, he has a positive motive in the beginning, but you could see in the way he does things that he's not doing this just for his family. He wants the power. And Adelina, she's just straightforward, like, power. I tremble thinking about it. I'm like, whoa, sit down, girl. Gemma is sitting there with a knife to her throat in the arena. This is so exciting. I love it. I'm like, I was talking about Raphael. To me, he's like a blend of Cinna and Magnus Bane. He's got Cinna's personality. He's really calm and understanding and kind and gentle, but he has this wiseness that you see from Magnus, and just his style and how beautiful he is. I really liked him a lot. Right off the bat, he's like, I don't think we should be working with her. I think you should just kill this bitch and we should move on. Yeah, I don't want you to do that because I want to stay here and get to know you guys, but you're right, this bitch should go. She's cold. She is cold. I really don't know where we're going with her. Usually in these stories, we see our anti-hero climb the ladder and we enjoy watching it happen, and then in the end she crumbles and dies. But with Adelina, it's a YA book. I'm thinking we're gonna see her develop into someone who has compassion and sympathy. Like, even towards the end of the book, we like her a little more. She's rescued by Violetta. She realizes her sister is the only person in her life that she can trust, that she can depend on always. And that kind of takes away some of the darkness surrounding Adelina's soul, because she realizes that someone loves and cares for her. I don't know, she could easily slip back into that power-hungry mongrel mode. She's the White Wolf. And not like the White Wolf like a star. She's like the White Wolf from Days of Blood and Starlight. Like, I understand why she is the way she is. She's never been loved. She only knows evil meanness. That's why the bitterness sits in her so hard. But even though Violetta was treated nicer, she wasn't mean to Adelina. There was someone that loved her. She was too selfish to see it. but I'm rooting for her. So I don't even know. Enzo is also known as the Reaper. The Reaper is a really cool nickname. The Reaper. He's coming for you. Death. But then you got some of the other crew members. Spider. Spider's not a horrible name, but it's way not as cool as the Reaper. And then we have Windwalker, which is kind of cool. It's not on the level of Reaper. Maybe he purposely did it like that, so his name would sound the coolest. This name made me laugh when I read it. Star Thief. I'm just picturing someone out of an 80s cop sitcom. I know it's based off of some sort of myth, and she steals the minds of beasts. We could have given her a cooler name. She sounds like a circus act. She does do a lot of circus-like things. Then we got Mikkel, the architect. I mean, that's kind of a cool name. It's a cool name for someone in a heist crew. Mikkel can unravel things and then re-ravel them in a different place. That wording was interesting and different. He's trying to move living things now, and he hasn't been able to master it, but he will eventually. Star Thief is trying to be able to jump into the minds of humans, which he hasn't been able to do yet. That'd be cool. What I love so much about this book is how strong the women are. Then we go to the end, that epilogue with Maeve, and I really want to see more of her. She sounds really awesome. Her mom had 7 sons before her because women are the heirs in their society, and I just thought that was so cool. I'm excited for Adelina to create her own crew. That must be what the Rose Society is. We have that little blurb at the beginning of one of the last chapters, which is the Rose Society pledge. I liked those blurbs. I really enjoyed those. On a lot of books, I just skip the little blurbs above it, or I just kind of read them, but I don't like them. I really enjoyed every little blurb at the beginning of the chapters. They kind of give you some insight on the world and where the chapter was going, and I really liked how those tied in. I thought they were really well done. Adelina's power fetish is unsettling. I don't see that deflating. I see it just rising back up again, especially when Enzo comes back from the dead. Okay, should we talk about the end? Enzo dies. I was kind of spoiled for this. I saw a tweet a while back with Enzo in it, but I knew he can't die. He's the love interest. He's the prince. This is book 1, and they had that mention of an elite that can bring back the dead, so I have no doubt in my mind that he's gonna come back. But we know from the epilogue that they don't come back normal. Like, they do for a while, and then they start to become like a demon of the Antichrist or something. The person who brings them back has like weird power over them. Interesting! Maeve is gonna have weird power over him. So when she needs something done, she can use him as her minion, like her puppet. Enzo's gonna be a puppet to the cool queen, so I don't really care. I don't love Enzo. I like Enzo. I like his relationship with Adelina. I like what it brings out in her. I like them together because I think that can kind of help her passionate side really thrive and maybe bring out some compassion for others. I like them training together. I really like that scene where they're playing that necklace game and she puts the necklace on him. That was one of my favorite scenes. I also really love the scene where they were pretending they were a couple at that like masquerade ball outside with the fireworks. That was really cute and nice, and Adelina finally felt like a normal human. Those moments of sweetness were very rare with her. When she's scaring people and feeding off fear. Such power over these little masses. I love it. When she says things to Dante, like, careful, least I hurt you. Stop. The amount of times Adelina didn't tell Enzo what was up with Terran and the spying. But when it came time and Adelina did leave to go to Terran, and it was during that whole assassinating the king thing in the night, and she didn't tell Terran anything, even though in her mind she kept being like, tell him, tell him. I was so proud. I was so proud of my evil little bitch deciding to be good, deciding not to betray the humans. And then Violetta ends up having an ability. Didn't see that one coming, but I'm happy about it because her ability is definitely one that we need to use to kill Terran, and I think we need to kill Terran. He's still our antagonist, who's not really an antagonist because our protagonist is an antagonist. Like, I don't even know who is good, who is bad. It's all gray area, which makes the story interesting. That's what really made it so interesting as we went on. Really, the Daggers are a terrorist group. They kill people, innocent people, to make points. Yeah, the king is oppressive and he's committing genocide across his people, killing the Malfetos, but the Daggers are killing people too. It's just fighting war with war, fire with fire, an eye for an eye. No one is a good guy here, except for Violetta, and even she stands by. Unless her sister murdered Dante. We're in morally gray area at all times, and that is why this is so enticing. I really don't know why Enzo would challenge Torrin to a duel when he knows he can't beat him in a duel. This is before he even knows Violetta is a thing. It's a stupid way to buy time when you know you can't win the time contest. Terran scares me with his stupid power that Claire has in Heroes. Now, in the next book, I'm not sure where we're gonna stay. Who is gonna fund our living now? We don't have any money, and we don't have the Daggers, and we're gonna have to start our own crew. And when is Enzo gonna come back? Like, how long is that gonna take? How long is Maeve gonna take to do that? She's gotta go like swimming through the underworld like Hercules. in the Disney version of Hercules. Please share your thoughts on this book. Your favorite part. My favorite part is those 5 seconds that were nice when they were just pretending to be a couple at a party dancing. Oh, no. Oh, that part when they were training and she tricked him. She impressed him. We had the knife when it wasn't real. That impressed me, dude. I was like, whoa, didn't know you were there. That was good. My favorite character is Violetta. She is the only one that isn't evil. Like, I like Gemma, but still, Gemma does shit. Like, they don't save everyone. They're not heroes. Share your thoughts. I'm Christine. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.